So we are trying to run on schedule, and the Assistant Secretary has 15 minutes, so this will be sort of a lightning round. We just met moments ago, and one thing about the Assistant Secretary, his bio is, you can do the QR code with saving paper, saving trees, is in your program. And like many in the Trump administration, he is double-hatted, which means he also has, do you have two bosses?
I'm actually my own boss for one of the jobs.
Oh, that's the best. How are you as a boss?
My performance reviews are stellar.
Stellar. And I did take a look at the Assistant Secretary's shoes to see if they were floor shine, and
they are not.
They're not floor shine. So that's an aspiration?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. But you do have big shoes to fill.
Yes, sir.
Nonetheless. So we're here. We're going to talk a little bit about why the U.S. is such a good market for space investment. So what's our competitive advantage in that regard?
So that's a fantastic question. So
Thank you.
Just to start things off, so Taylor Jordan, Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Environmental Observation and Prediction, confirmed by the Senate in October, so I'm only 5 months into this job, and also dual-headed as the Director of the Office of Space Commerce. So wearing my Space Commerce hat, we are laser-focused on being the industry advocate for space, and that manifests itself in a number of different ways, and we're focused on several different priority programs, and especially the executive orders that have come out from the White House and the leadership and vision of President Trump. In that, there are several different taskings to the Department of Commerce that we were working on. One of which is what I announced this morning over at the satellite conference, and that's our mission authorization framework. So the executive order tasked the Department of Commerce with putting together a framework for novel space activities. Now, what are novel space activities? They're things that don't exist today in space. They're things that don't have a regulatory path to yes. So that executive order tasked us to figure that out. Go do it. So we worked with the interagency for a number of months. We worked with the industry as well. We got comments, we got feedback, and as of this morning, we have published that on our website, which is fantastic. And we're asking for public comment on that. So if you haven't seen it already, please go to the Office of Space Commerce website. Please, space.commerce.gov. There it is. Please.
Very knowledgeable audience.
It is a few pages, I think 10 to 12 pages. Please take your time, review it. Please send us your comments and feedback. But what that does, it allows a regulatory path to yes within the U.S. government where there perhaps did not exist before. And what that will do will also provide capital markets the confidence that their investment in space companies is going to work out, because now they have a chance to operate in space where before it was a maybe.
And do who are big competitors that we have to actually beat at this game?
Well, the U.S. is the global leader in space, and under President Trump's vision, we aim to stay that way. I think some of our biggest competitors may be the European market, the Chinese market as they grow into the future, but we aim to retain our status as the world leader in space. We have the most robust industry, we have transparent regulations, and we are adaptive and accessible.
And what's the role of sort of the public-private partnerships and private money in this?
This is a great question. So as far as public-private partnerships go, this is where I get to turn to my NOAA hat a little bit and how we are changing the way we do business in space. So historically, NOAA in its satellite office, NESDIS, would build satellites, these kind of large satellite systems that are exquisite and have a lot of different instruments. They take 5, 10 years and they last for 5 years and they cost multi-billion dollars. We have now transitioned over the last several years to buying commercial data, and maybe we can just buy data and we can de-risk some of the government platforms by leveraging those public-private partnerships. And earlier this year, I announced at the American Meteorological Society that we have a new IDIQ vehicle that has a multi-billion-dollar ceiling. And we're going to also change the policy under the hood and allow for multi-year contracting. And again, that's going to give the private sector the confidence that, hey, that's not just a 3-month task order to produce some data. That's not just 6 months. That's multi-year, so that you have the confidence that the government is going to be a stable and predictable partner well into the future. So we're actively changing the way we do business in space. Some folks like to say that, hey, commercial data can just augment or it can just supplement the government's data. And that's true. But in some instances, in some data sets, commercial data can rip and replace those data sets. And we've seen that happen already before. And I think that is the real opportunity within the U.S. government as opposed to globally. We leverage the private sector. We allow them to play in our programs of record. And there are multiple agencies and departments writ large across the government that allow that to happen.
Does one thing, the challenge with executive orders is they can be reversed or ignored in the future. Does this need some legislation to make it more reliable, durable, and that people will trust it?
So that's a great question. So
I'm getting a lot of good points here.
In the absence of legislation, the administration is moving ahead. And for instance, for our mission authorization framework, it is a voluntary system using existing authorities. So we don't technically need Congress to weigh in for us to go ahead and move out. Sure, in the future, if they want to codify what we're doing, we would love to work with them to get to a good product. But we obviously value the partnership with Congress to get these things done. President Trump's vision in the executive orders, he's laid out 2 already landmark space executive orders that we couldn't be more thrilled about. And I've talked about one with our mission authorization work, and there's another one in there that I want to talk about as well. And that's the specific call out for the Department of Commerce to muster up the $50 billion of additional investment in space by 2028. So what we're doing internally is we're looking at, hey, okay, what are the mechanisms to do that? And really, we've come up with a few different things. And part of that is deeply intertwined with our mission authorization framework. There is money waiting on the sidelines for that confidence from the U.S. government.
Private sector money, you mean?
Private sector money, correct. There is an opportunity to, if the government has a pathway to yes for novel space activities, that private sector investment waiting on the sidelines will have the confidence to now say, yes, that can happen. Yes, I will invest in that company. Yes, go do that thing, unlocking billions of dollars for the U.S. space economy. That's just one way in which we're going to muster up and accumulate that $50 billion additional dollars.
So some might be confused why this sort of NOAA is involved, versus NASA or defense. Is it the commercialization, the commercial aspects of this that makes why this needs to be housed within Commerce and NOAA?
Absolutely. So the Office of Space Commerce, written into its mandate, is to be the industry advocate. We advocate for industry internally to the U.S. federal government and externally to the private sector and internationally as well. We are a full service shop advocating on behalf of the U.S. industry. And the other thing I will say is another way we can help reach that $50 billion of additional space investment is by U.S. coordination. Part of that is streamlining the regulations that exist today. Part of that is Office of Space Commerce, and again, leveraging my NOAA hat, talking about how we are changing the way we are doing business, selling that to other federal agencies, NASA, DOW. We all have these programs of record, and we all historically build our own satellites, have our own programs of record that cost billions of dollars. But if we can change our acquisition frameworks to allow for greater bites at the apple from industry, that can also unlock greater confidence in the private market and accumulate wealth for that $50 billion.
What's the role of sort of want a better word, a traffic cop? I mean, we've seen some horribly tragic accidents in passenger aircraft on the ground, but there's a lot of stuff going on up there. How does that all work?
So, again, a great question. So the Office of
I'm going to get to be moderator of the day.
This is great. This is fantastic. You guys should keep this guy. The Office of Space Commerce is working, and So OSC is working on their space situational awareness platform, tracks, and that is what's going to help us to understand where things are in the atmosphere and in space, and continue to have the confidence that we can operate and then we can give the green light for things to continue to be healthy. I mean, we're looking at some of these larger and larger constellations. We talked about mega constellations and then giga constellations, right? We need to know where those things are, and that is a space safety situation that, again, the Office of Space Commerce has a leading role in.
So we read about people, obviously, like Elon Musk with SpaceX, which I actually worked a lot with when I chaired the Export-Import Bank. We have Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin. We have Richard Branson with Virgin Galactica. And they seem to all have very different views of space, whether it's about colonizing other planets, whether it's doing manufacturing in space, whether it's tourism. Can you unpack that a little bit for us? And who are some of the other players that maybe aren't as obvious to the rest of us?
Sure. So the U.S. has the most robust space enterprise in the entire world. I can't speak to specifically what Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos wants to do with their different programs, but I do know that we are blessed to have innovators in America that want to push the envelope and continue to provide new technologies to meet government missions, private missions, to improve the life and our understanding of the Earth, of our atmosphere, of other planets, and that really is something that we should allow to operate. So in this administration and President Trump's vision, he is breaking down those barriers that exist in regulation and making sure that we will continue to be the leader. So really it's about nourishing the marketplace. It's about nourishing the science and the technology and the innovation that happens in America, and we will continue to do that.
And obviously the Defense Department has a lot of interest in space as well. How do you coordinate those sort of commercial interests with national security and the defense infrastructure?
So as the industry advocate, we work with all the departments and the agencies across the federal government. We routinely work with the Department of War and all the programs that they are working on, as well as NASA, as well as NOAA. And it's really great to wear both of these hats and leverage both jobs for that role. But again, like I was saying earlier, what we are doing to change the way we do business in space with these different types of FAR-based acquisition models, or using OTA, which, we want to go fast. We want to do things differently.
What is OTA?
Other Transaction Authority, which is a non-FAR-based.
Is that right?
So utilizing these new frameworks, and then put on my salesman hat, go to NASA, go to DOW, and tell them, hey, look, this is how I'm doing things over here, and it's working, and I'm meeting my mission, and I'm doing it better, faster, cheaper, stronger. You guys can do it too over there. That opens up more opportunities for more commercial companies because we have the most in America. Everyone can play in the same sandbox.
So since you told me you're double-hatted and you're going to stay that way, this is all very good, but some of us care about the weather, which is your other hat. So I live in Florida. Do I have to worry about hurricanes this fall?
Our hurricane forecast will be coming out. I believe it comes out in the May timeframe. So TBD, but of course, annual hurricanes are a high-impact weather event. We have the full technology stack in place. We have the people in place at our weather forecast offices, and we have the best technology in the world to give a life-saving forecast to all citizens.
So what I did a little reading and preparing for today, it's one of the hard things with weather systems and storms and hurricanes is actually forecasting intensity. Can you unpack that? We have a minute and 28 seconds.
So intensity is a difficult problem. We have gotten so good at forecasting hurricanes over the last few decades. The hurricane cone that many of you are familiar with, we've seen that get smaller and smaller as the years go by. We are still working on how we better forecast intensity. That is a difficult question. And a lot of folks ask me, sometimes you're wrong about the weather, like a couple days in advance. Why are you wrong? Aren't we better than that? And the answer is, forecasting something in the future is hard. And we really try to do it, and we try to do it really well. NOAA spends billions of dollars every single year to forecast what is going to happen in a couple days. Part of that there's multiple legs to the stool on how you create an accurate weather forecast. You got to have a good model. You got to have good observations. That's where commercial satellite data comes in. And then you got to have good high performance computing. Mix all those together, create the recipe, spit out a weather forecast, and that's how we're going to save lives and property.
Anything you want to leave our audience with that we didn't get to yet? We have 16 seconds. We've got plenty of time.
This is perfect. Thank you for having me here today and speaking a little bit about what we're doing at the Office of Space Commerce, what we're doing at NOAA. I love to say that I have two first names, Taylor Jordan, or two last names, depending on how you look at it. I have one of the easiest names in government. My email is taylor.jordan@noaa.gov. Please reach out to me. And let's have a conversation. There's a lot to be said. There's a lot to talk about. We're doing a lot of great things in this administration with space, with weather, and I'm really looking forward to the future.
Do not email him if you're unhappy with the weather forecast. Anything else is fine.
Thank you.
So let's give him a round of applause. Thank you.